Welcome to today's episode. Sometimes, the loudest mistakes in life are not the things we say, but the things we don't. This is the story of Tabo, a man whose silence cost him friends, family, and dreams. Stay with me. Tabo grew up in a small township outside Johannesburg. His mother worked 2 jobs, and his father, well, he was there sometimes, but most days he brought more alcohol than hope. Tabo was a bright boy, good with numbers, sharp with words. But he had one weakness. When things went wrong, he stayed silent. At 14, he saw his cousin stealing from the spaza shop where he sometimes helped. The owner of that shop was kind, almost like family. Tabo wanted to say something, but fear held him back. Days later, the shop closed down. The owner lost everything. The community lost their safe little place. Tabo learned a painful truth he didn't yet fully understand. Silence can destroy. At 18, life tested him again. His best friend started smoking niobe. Tabo noticed the lies, the missing shoes, the hunger in his friend's eyes. But once again, he kept quiet, afraid of losing the friendship. Months later, that same friend overdosed in a shack. At the funeral, Tabo carried the coffin, but inside, he carried something heavier than wood, the guilt of silence. Years later, Tabo got a job at a logistics company. He had a dream of building his mother a brick house. For the first time, life seemed to be moving forward. One evening, he spotted something wrong in the system, money being stolen. He thought, "It's not my problem." And just like before, he stayed quiet. Months later, police raided the company. Fraud charges shook the business. It collapsed, hundreds lost jobs, and Tabo's dream house for his mother turned to dust. Now in his 30s, Tabo speaks to schools and young people. He tells them this: silence is not neutral. Every time I stayed quiet, somebody paid the price. Sometimes with money, sometimes with their life, sometimes with my future. You know what the damage of silence is: emotional, mental, social, and permanent. Gaining on story. A life was lost, a family was broken, the bullies' futures are haunted, and the community carries a painful lesson. What silence does to a person's life. 1. Silence makes you feel invisible. When people ignore your pain, you start to believe you don't matter. 2. Silence kills confidence. You stop trusting yourself, you stop speaking up, and you begin to shrink inside. 3. Silence builds loneliness. Even in a room full of people, you feel like you are standing alone. 4. Silence grows into self-doubt. You begin to think, maybe they are right about me, and their cruel words become your own thoughts. 5. Silence carries pain forward. The hurt doesn't go away. It follows you into adulthood, into friendships, work, and relationships. 6. Silence steals hope. Worst of all, it can push someone to believe there is no escape, no reason to continue. The pain of speaking up lasts for a moment, but the pain of silence, it lasts forever. So I ask you, how many times have you stayed quiet when you should have spoken? How many lives, jobs, or relationships have been broken? Not by words, but by silence. Tabo's story is not just his story. It is a warning, a mirror, a challenge. Courage is costly, but cowardice costs more. Thank you for listening. Remember, speak when it matters, because silence always has consequences. Until next time, stay strong, stay awake, and stay true.